Hello, grade twos. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today in science, we will further continue our unit on forces and movements. And today, we will be learning about what's called the gravitational force. So, before we begin, let's briefly review what we learned last class. Last class, we learned about the term force, which is a push or pull acting against an object. It can cause an object to move from one place to the other or change its direction to right, left, up, or down. We discussed pushing and pulling, where pushing is when you are moving objects away from you, and pulling is when you are moving objects towards you. We engage in pushing and pulling force in our everyday lives in different activities such as playing tug of war or playing in the playground, opening the door, pushing the cart, and etc. Imagine that your parents told you that you'll be going to Disneyland tomorrow. What would you do? If I were you, I would jump up and down and scream. And after you're done jumping up and down and freaking out, you will land on your feet, right? But have you ever wondered why would you land on the ground instead of floating off into space? It's because of gravity. Gravity is something that pulls everything into the ground, including you and me. Without the gravitational force, there will be no life on Earth. No air, no animals, no you. Everything would be flying off into space. You may think of gravity as an invisible superglue that holds our massive world together. You can't see it, but it's always there. An English scientist named Isaac Newton was the first person to seriously study gravity over 300 years ago. There's a famous story that you might have heard. Sir Isaac was hanging out underneath an apple tree thinking when an apple fell from the tree and conked him on the head. That was an aha moment for Isaac Newton. He wondered, why did the apple fall down to the ground, not up or sideways? He knew that there was a special kind of force, which we now know as gravity, was acting on all of the objects on Earth, pulling toward it. Once the apple became too heavy for its stem to hold it anymore, the gravitational pull of Earth brought the apple down onto Newton's head. So that's when he was able to determine what goes up must come down. Okay, so you know that once you jump up, you will eventually land back on the ground and know that the apple drop down will land on the ground too. But what if you throw something, let's say an apple, in front of you, or to the left, or to the right? What do you think will happen to the apple? No matter where you throw the apple, to the right, left, the apple will eventually go down and hit the floor. The apple will go up and to the right or to the left for a little bit, but eventually it's going to be pulled back down to the ground no matter what by the gravity. The pulling force of gravity is so strong that it could be quite scary and dangerous at times. If you were to take a seemingly small or light object up in the air and drop it on the floor from somewhere high, that small object can give such a huge impact by the gravitational force. That's why on construction sites, it is important for all workers to wear a helmet to stop themselves from getting hurt by fallen objects from high buildings. But some workers don't wear helmets because they are not aware of how dangerous not wearing a helmet can be. Today, your job is to tell these workers to wear their helmets while they are on site because fallen objects from buildings can be quite dangerous. Here, we have three objects with different weights. These objects will be dropped from a height of 30 feet, which is pretty high, And at the bottom, there will be a watermelon with a helmet or without a helmet. Your job is to predict what you think will happen to the watermelon with or without the proper gear once each object is dropped. Please fill out the objects and prediction chart first, and then watch the video that I have given you on Google Classroom to fill out the results section. Please have fun and don't hesitate to ask me any questions if you have any. Bye for now.